Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are talking about ratios. A ratio is a comparison of two numbers using division. A ratio is a comparison of two numbers using division. A ratio can be written three different ways. It can be written as a fraction. So we can have A over B. A ratio can be written with a colon between the two values, A colon B, or a ratio can be written as A to B. All of these are acceptable ways of writing a ratio. A ratio compares two values using division. So a ratio can compare, when you have a group, a ratio can compare part to part, part to whole, or whole to part. There's the things you need to know about a ratio to begin with. Now, a ratio is a comparison of two quantities. That means numbers using division. So on this paper is 10 M&Ms. We can kind of organize it so we can count them. There's 5 blue, 2 yellow, 1 red. 2 orange, 1 red, 1 yellow, and 1 green. So 10 M&Ms. If I wanted to do a part to part ratio, I could look at the red and yellow. Red to yellow. Red to yellow. Red has 1. Yellow has 1. So a red to yellow is 1 to 1. It's a 1 to 1 ratio. That means every 1 red, I have 1 yellow. Now, if I wanted to change it up a little bit, and I wanted to do a ratio of blue to orange, I would have 5 blue to 2 oranges. Now remember, I can write this 3 different ways. I can write it as 5 to 2. I can write 5 blue for every 2 oranges. Or I could write 5 to 2. That would mean that for every 5 blue I find, I would find 2 orange ones. 5 blue for every 2 orange. Now, let's talk a little bit about equivalent ratios, and then we're going to go to part to whole. Talk about equivalent ratios. If I had 10 blue, how many orange would I expect? Well, I know that 5 times 2 is 10. So, to find an equivalent ratio, I'm going to multiply 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So, 10 to 4 is an equivalent ratio. If I found 15 blue ones, 5 times 3 is 15. So if I found 15 blue ones, how many orange ones would I find? And if you answered 6, you would be correct. 15 to 6 is the equivalent ratio. 10 to 4 is equal to 15 to 6, which is equal to 5 to 2. So equivalent ratios work just like equivalent fractions by multiplying or dividing the top and the bottom or each term by the same value. I could multiply times 2. I could multiply times 3. Both of them would work. I have an endless number of equivalent ratios. Now let's talk about part to whole. Part to whole. Let's stick with those blues. I have blue to total. The whole amount is the total. So 5 blue, my total M&Ms is 10. 5 to 10. Let's write this as a fraction. 5 over 10. 5 to 10. Okay. What's an equivalent ratio of 5 to 10? If you're saying 1/2, nice job. Divide by 5, divide by 5, and we have 1 over 2. If you said 10 over 20, you're absolutely correct. Because I could do 5 times 2, 10 times 2, and I would get 10 over 20. So 1 over 2, 10 over 20, 5 over 10 are all equivalent ratios. Let's go back to discussing total to part. Let's go back to that green. Okay? First off, the total number is 10. So total to green. And my total is 10 to, how many green do I have? I only have 1 green. So 10 to 1. So my total is 10 to 1. This could be written as 10 to 1. We don't need to reduce this. It looks like a fraction, but we don't need to reduce this. We just leave it as 10 to 1 because it's a ratio. It's a comparison of two numbers. We need to make sure that the people know that those are the two numbers we are working with. So we've talked about today a ratio is a comparison of two numbers using division. A ratio can be a comparison of a part to a part to a whole, or a whole to a part. It can also be written in 3 different forms. It can be written with the colon, it can be written as a fraction, or it can be written with the word TO. For extra credit on your next homework assignment, please write what color M&M is Mr. Rao missing from his small pile of 10 M&Ms. Have a great day. Bye.